BYU Sports Nation. Brought to you by the BYU Store. Simulcast on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Now from Studio B, your hosts, Spencer Linton and Blaine Fowler.
BYU Sports Nation is live, your day-to-day play-by-play in Studio B, presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. It is Monday, June 27th. Wherever and however you're connected, always great to have you with us. I am Spencer Linton, teamed up alongside a man who I'm pretty sure would last longer than 45 seconds, but at least 45 seconds in the MMA octagon with Andrew Mickelson. His name is Blaine Fowler.
And by the way, did you see some video of that fight? Andrew Mickelson, former BYU kicker.
A kicker, people.
Yeah.
A kicker.
I like how you say a kicker, for Pete's sakes. Yeah, like, he was phenomenal. And I was talking to Gavin about it this morning. He says, yeah, I think it's his fourth fight, and he thinks he's 3-1 now, and he just keeps getting better every fight. But to answer your question, like, to comment on that, like, I definitely would last longer than that, because for the first round, I would use my old man strength. So, and everybody knows you have, like, people have old man strength.
That's a real thing.
That's our thing.
Real thing.
The young guys, they just can't deal with it. It kind of gets in their head. It's almost like brain power because you have old man strength, right? So I would use old man strength in the first round.
Okay.
I would just hold on to him in the clinches. So he wouldn't be able to. Then he would he'd figure out in the second round how to get away from me. Then I would run around, because I would use my quickness and my savvy, so he couldn't get a hand on me in the second round. So I would make it at least to the third round. And then here's the thing. Have I not established that I can take a punch? I mean, can we see this? Can you zoom in on that? No, because it's fixed. But this nose right here, do we remember? Look at this gash in my nose right here. Thank you for that. Do you remember when I came on with you and Jerem? I came on with Spencer and Jerem. Thanks for zooming in on that. It was an excellent job. That's life. I did not go down. When that giant glass door hit me at full swing, I saw stars, but I stayed on my feet. You can't knock me out.
You can take a punch.
Oh, I can take a punch. This is proof of it. Even in my old man age, I can still take a punch. So Andrew's not knocking me out.
You heard it here first. Fowler and Mickelson, part one.
Yeah, but I'm proud of Andrew. I know him well. Gavin coached him at BYU, and you see the physical shape that this dude is in.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
He looked amazing. He is very, very much in shape. So, yeah, I would last longer than
I have two favorite parts. Two favorite parts of this. One we've already addressed well. It's a kicker.
Right.
It's a kicker, people. Like, he's breaking the mold. Okay? And then Pat McAfee, host of the Pat McAfee Show, former fantastic punter for the Indianapolis Colts, huge personality, quote tweeted Andrew Mickelson's fight and said, #for the brand. Yes. It's all about the kickers.
That's right.
Toughening up the idea of what a kicker and a punter is.
And if those of you that haven't seen BYU specialist right now, oh my goodness. Punter and kicker.
Jake Oldroyd, Ryan Rico.
Ryan could start at outside linebacker. He's about 240 and jacked. And Jake Oldroyd could start at strong safety. They're not your typical kickers. I'm going for BYU with the most physical, toughest kickers and punters in the country. There you go.
Breaking the mold for the brand. It's all for you, Pat McAfee. Hey, we've got a knockout show lineup in store for you to begin the week, including the area where BYU football will improve the most in 2022. I know you know the Cougars were pretty darn good in 2021, but they'll significantly improve in at least one area we'll discuss. One of the all-time great defensive linemen, a sack machine, Jan Jorgensen, is back on the BYU football staff. He joins us live, where he plans to help the Cougars improve dramatically. Plus, some basketball blockbusters this summer with Jimmer and Alex Barcelo. But first, bring on today's BYU Sports Nation headlines.
Let's start with BYU football announcing 4 new hires. Pat Hickman is the new director of recruiting back at BYU.
A new old hire.
That's right. Jan Jorgensen, he's kind of a new old hire. He was here as a GA. He's now as a senior defensive analyst. Christina Roberts has been named the executive assistant to the head coach. Will work directly with Kalani Sitake. And Anna Lamb, who's been working in the office, has now been given the title of office manager. She'll run all office functions there at BYU. So this brings the total to, I think, 41 staff and at BYU football. This is a huge increase over the last year.
In terms of numbers, the staff is looking pretty healthy.
Yeah.
How about 2 Cougars in Pro Football Network's 2023 mock draft? Yes, There's always time for a mock draft, including Jaron Hall, who is projected by Pro Football Network, as the first-round, 31st overall pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ahead of offensive lineman Blake Freeland. We haven't seen a lot of this. Freeland projected to go in the second round, 64th overall to the Buffalo Bills. Typically, we've seen Blake go in the first round, and it's Jaron that's sliding to the second or third round. Pro Football Network has that going the opposite way.
I'm going way out on a limb right here, and I'm telling you, the only if they both stay relatively healthy next year, they're both going in the first round.
Wow.
That's my prediction. Those are 2 first-round draft picks next year. Mark it. I said it here.
Yeah, when's the last time BYU had 2 first-round draft picks?
It's been a while.
Holy
so there
cow.
you go. Hey, in basketball, Alex Barcelo, Yoli Childs signed NBA Summer League contracts. Alex with the Toronto Raptors, Yoli Childs with Utah Jazz. NBA Summer League begins July 7th and goes through the 15th. Eric Mika has also been named to the Team USA Men's World Cup qualifying team, and they play Puerto Rico and Cuba this upcoming weekend. So 3 former Cougs suiting it up during summer.
Let's go.
For basketball. There you go.
How about this? Dallin Schertz and Courtney Wayman, both representing BYU track and field, both take second in the United States Track and Field Outdoor National Championships. Schertz with a new personal best, 62.32 meters in the javelin, 6th best all-time at BYU. Courtney Wayman runs a 9:12 in the steeplechase, 4 seconds faster than her last personal record at the NCAA title, earns her a spot in the United States World Championship team. She's got a new brand. She's working with On Cloud. Yeah, life is good for Courtney Wayman.
What can she not do? Like, hey, can we please point out, too, that she's a Davis High alum? Because Davis High, that's where all my kids went to school and ran track, by the way. But Courtney represented Davis High here in Utah. So she's a Utah athlete through and through. Davis High School up to BYU. Here's the thing that blows me away about Courtney. She goes out and shatters the NCAA record a couple weeks ago by 8 seconds, and all she does is come back and break it by 4 again this week. She is ridiculous right now.
Amazing.
Hey, on to BYU baseball. Brent Harding promoted to assistant head coach. He spent the last 8 years as an assistant coach and recruiting coordinator on the staff here at BYU. He's also the head coach of the American Samoan national baseball team, which is a whole story we'll have to get in sometime, but it's a really, really cool deal. His wife is of Samoan heritage. And then most importantly, he's one of my gym buddies and an all-around.
Oh, Brent Herring is one of your gym buddies?
Yep, Brent's always in the gym. He's a good dude. We
Listen.
always, you know what we talk every time we get together though? BYU football. That's what we talk.
Why not? Congratulations to Brent Herring. Well-deserved honor on that BYU baseball staff. Michaela Clough, competing for the United States women's under-23 soccer team, helped the U.S. beat India 4-1. Ashley Hatch on the United States senior women's national team started at center forward. How wild is that?
Wild.
The United States beat Colombia 3-0. They'll play again. And then how about this? Laveni and Daviana Vaca, still with BYU football, will travel to Fiji on July 10th to compete with the Tongan women's national team in the OFC Women's Nations Cup, which could earn them a spot in the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup.
Very
That is
cool.
so cool.
Very, very cool.
Laveni and Daviana Vaca.
Yeah. And Violet Zavodnik, I'm getting that right?
Yep.
Yeah, Violet Zavodnik, D1 softball, ranked Violet the 44th best softball player from the 2022 season, so top 50 player in the country. She was named to the All-WCC team this past season.
Should have been the player of the year.
She had yeah, I agree with that 100%. She had a batting average of .399 this past season and was a terror at the plate.
So much for the slow summer, right? All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
You're talking about it, and so are we. It's What's Trending on BYU Sports Nation.
What's Trending, presented by Tim Daly Nissan, part of the Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968. We are all feeling really, really good about where BYU football stands, especially after Media Day at the midway point of last week. Yes, emotions are high, expectations are super high, but that has not prevented us from looking at where this BYU team, which was so good in 2021, can certainly improve in 2022. So, Blaine, for you, coming off of Media Day and hearing all of the coaches and the star players talk about what they're bringing back, which area do you see BYU football improving in the most from 2021 to 2022?
It's interesting because everybody comes in there And whether you're from outside the program and just watch it from a distance, or you're immediate, whatever, everybody says, man, BYU's offense, this should be a top 5 offense next year. Look at this offensive line. They've got a quarterback coming back that's a draftable guy, and this great transfer and a running back, and they were loaded at wide receiver. That's been the given, right? To me, what's kind of behind the scenes is that the talent that's been added to the defensive line, and the guys that were nicked up last year that are back at full strength this year. I feel like that defensive line is going to go from an area where people were going, man, do they have enough depth? How are they doing?
Yeah.
To a position group that people are going to go, wow, BYU's loaded on the defensive line, just like they are on the offensive line, a little bit younger maybe. But I think that that's the area of improvement we're gonna see the most. And Kalani, I got to spend quite a bit of time with him at Media Day, and he seems quietly confident about how this defense is going to perform and really feels good about the personnel they have in that defensive line. He mentioned to me, the defenses that I've been involved in have been really, really good, have been able to pressure the quarterback with 4 down linemen and not have to blitz to pressure the quarterback. Then when you do blitz, it adds even more. Then you get to the quarterback and you get home and you cause all kinds of havoc. But the teams that he feels like have been his best defenses can control the line of scrimmage with 4 and get to the quarterback without having to dial up blitzes.
Yeah.
And I said, so are you telling me that you think that this year this is a team that you can do that with? And he goes, yeah, I feel really, really good about this defensive line. So that's what I'm thinking.
Well, let me specify something along with what you're saying about the defensive line, because I feel like BYU will improve the most, yes, up front, and certainly the defensive line is going to be a huge part of where I think they'll improve, and that is stopping the run, Blaine. And Elisa Tuiaki came on here last week and said, look, I know you get tired of hearing me talk about it, but everybody wants sacks, everybody wants turnovers. We're going to win more games and be more dominant if we can stop the run. Because if you look at the 3 games that BYU lost last year, what could they not do, Blaine? They couldn't stop the run against Baylor. They couldn't, surprisingly, stop the run against a banged-up Boise State team.
Right.
And they couldn't stop the run against UAB in the bowl game.
Yeah, and I think some of that has to do with personnel, right? And they got to the point in that season where they were so beat up at linebacker. And linebackers, defensive linemen, and we talk about this group that's back, and Batty and Summers and Hawes and Earl Tuioti Mariner. And to go along with them, you got some of the young guys that played a bunch last year, Blake Mickelson, John Nelson. These guys are all bigger, stronger, faster. A year back, Fisher Jackson's going to show up on the scene this year. Alden Tofa is going to get playing time this year. It's just there's just so many guys now that they can throw in there. And when you look at them, they're all 15 to 20 pounds heavier, but leaner.
Healthy.
They're healthy. They're ready to go. I think Batty's poised to have a big-time breakout season. Keep him healthy all season. If they can stay relatively healthy and they can rotate some of that depth through there, all of a sudden they control it. But those guys are block eaters up front. And linebackers roam to the football and make a lot of tackles. You funnel a lot of things by design to backers. And BYU had just so many injuries down the stretch at the linebacker position. I think that was part of it.
Certainly. So getting healthy will undoubtedly help BYU be better in stopping the run with those linebackers coming up and the defensive front, the guys in the trenches up front more healthy. BYU was giving up, by the numbers, okay, and they were 75th out of 130 teams in Division I college football last year in stopping the run, okay? So back half. This is a team that went 10-3, Blaine, and went 6-1 against the Power Fives, and were in the back half of stopping the run by the numbers at the season's end. They were number 75. 163.5 yards per game on the ground. If they can just push that number up, and I'm not asking for anything like, astronomical, but if they can hold teams to under, let's say 140, about 135, that would put BYU around the top 30 run defenses.
Yeah, that's all they need, right?
Be in the top 30, top 35, you're going to win a game or two more. If BYU is able to do that against Boise State or UAB or Baylor, they probably win one of those games.
I think it's interesting because my old roommate and teammate Kyle Whittingham, he always would say, you got to stop the run. They were playing Washington State one year, Utah was, and he goes, well, first thing we got to do is stop the run. I was like, Kyle, but they don't even want to run. He goes, doesn't matter. If you make it so when it's 3rd and 1, they can't get a first. If they can't run it when they get down inside the 10-yard line, they cannot beat us. They may move the football throwing it, but if they can't run it at all on us, they can't beat us.
Yes.
Even a throwing team. Kalani has that same philosophy, and so does Elisa Tuiaki. So let's see. I agree with you. That's a big factor. Can that D-line show up and help control the line of scrimmage, and they stop the run this year?
Yes, go from 163 game to 135-ish.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it sounds like trivial. It's a big deal.
It's a big
difference.
The offense is going to show up.
And BYU is going to be a top half defense, and the offense we think is going to be dynamite.
Yep. So
we'll start to get some answers about where BYU will improve the most in how many days?
Countdown to the Bulls.
68 days. 68 days away. BYU at USF in Tampa, Florida.
I need to figure out, like, you and I need to practice so I can harmonize with you on that, because we just kind of do the same.
Yeah, no, you're the guy that can do that, right?
So we're going to do this. We're going to get better than this at this.
Our question of the day: where will BYU football improve the most from last season to this year? Blaine thinks it's on the defensive line overall. I say it's stopping the run. What do you think? Let's go to Voice of the Nation.
This is the Voice of the Nation on BYU Sports Nation.
Cougar Stats on Twitter answers, the most improvement is likely to come from the area which has the most room for improvement. Last year, BYU was 106 in 3rd down conversion defense, 108th in 4th down conversion defense. I like that.
Yeah, and that's we always talk about, you got to get off the field. You know, Kalani talks about that. We just couldn't get off the field because they couldn't stop people on 3rd down and on 4th down. That's huge. I love that.
Especially on 3rd and 4th and short.
Yep.
You shore up the trenches. Get off the field.
Absolutely.
Love that. Hashtag BYUSN, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Coming up, who will be the first Cougar off the board in the 2023 NFL Draft?
And guess who's back? The Janimal. Jan Jorgensen, sack machine, superstar, back in Studio B, where he thinks BYU football is going to improve the most from one year to the next. This is BYU Sports Nation.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by the Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968.
Trio Orem Senior Living believes in empowering seniors to live life to the fullest. We help eliminate stress out of daily life when you live at Trio. Less time focusing on housework means you can socialize at one of our many events, with safety in mind, of course. And did we mention our spacious apartments with modern amenities? Learn more about setting up a private tour at trioorem.com.
Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork sells Ford vehicles including the F-150, the pickup designed for work and play. Tim Daly Ford maintains a large inventory, providing more choices for selecting an F-150 with the power and engineering to carry and tow heavy loads. The F-150's design offers comfort, safety, and a range of options to choose from. Think Ford. Think Tim Daly Ford in Spanish Fork.
Accidents don't just happen 9 to 5. They happen when you least expect them. The team at Siegfried & Jensen is here for you 24/7. Nights, weekends, every day, every hour. Really here for you. No matter when you call us, you'll speak to a real person and have access to the same expertise and personal attention as always, and get the legal help you need when you need it. Nights, weekends, every day, every hour, 24/7.
Learn more at siegfriedandjensen.com.
Follow the ups and downs of elite young gymnasts and an exclusive behind-the-scenes look as they twist, flip, and bounce their way to the podium. See the commitment, effort, and mindset it takes for these competitors to rule their sport on GymStars, on BYU TV, or on the free app.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
Hey, BYU Sports Nation has its own YouTube channel.
Yep.
Get all the interviews by subscribing. And you subscribe to and you share the BYU Sports Nation YouTube channel. So get on there and look at that YouTube channel. We'll have clips and things on there all the time, right?
And indeed. And we're live, too, like right now in Studio B. So you can enjoy it live. You can enjoy it on demand.
So can you watch it live on the YouTube channel then?
I'm not sure.
Or does it just redo on the YouTube channel?
I believe it's just on demand on YouTube.
On demand.
Yeah,
that's still
with
huge.
The clips. But there are other places you can watch.
Watch us live, stream us live. If you can't do it live, do it afterwards.
There's like 47 other places you can watch live.
Just find it and just watch it.
He is Blaine Fowler. I am Spencer Linton. This is BYU Sports Nation. We are thrilled to welcome back to Studio B, to BYU TV, and to BYU Football on that staff, Jan Jorgensen, the sack machine, the Janimal, back as a defensive football analyst. You're back on staff, man. We couldn't be more thrilled about it. Welcome back.
I'm excited to be here. It's the road getting back it's been fun. It's been a cool journey, but I'm definitely very happy to be back here.
So people recognize you from your playing days, and they know your prowess, your sack prowess, and the great contributions made in the field. But a lot of folks aren't familiar with the path that brought you here, because you actually started as a high school football coach, and then were here as a GA. So take people from starting as a high school coach when you get out of here to where you're back here now. I think they'd be interested in that journey.
Yeah, so when I got done, I did a number of different things, and I did some work for you guys here.
I was going to say, including working for BYU TV,
including sitting in one of these and doing some work on TV. And they told me I was too ugly to be on TV, so I left.
That's not true, people.
How would I make it with this nose?
This handsome man? Are you kidding me?
So this isn't true.
So I did that. I was fighting. I was doing MMA. I was kind of pursuing a professional career there. And when I got done playing, I had two dreams. One was to make it to the UFC. The other one was to coach college football. And it came to a point where I had to choose. I wouldn't be able to do both. So I decided to get into coaching, and I took a head job at my old high school at Carbon High and coached there for a year. And
Go Dinos.
Go Dinos.
Right.
And there it just became very apparent that I wanted to coach at a high level. And so left there, was a GA under Bronco and his staff in 15, and then Kalani's staff came in at 16 and stayed with them in 16 and 17. I left, and I was defensive coordinator at Orange Coast College, junior college out in California, for a year. And then from there have been at Snow for the last 3 years as a defensive coordinator, and then got the opportunity to come here.
Wow. When did the opportunity to come back to BYU pop up on the radar?
So I had some opportunities other places that were kind of popping up and getting my name, in the mix for different jobs. And so when that was happening, I knew that, BYU was a place that I would love to be if I were going to move up and take a I don't want to say a better job, but like a bigger job, I guess you could say. And so I, called up Elisa and just kind of told him, like, hey, I'm kind of in the mix with these, but I'd love to be with you guys. And so that got the ball rolling, and then it just kind of, kept going and slowly gained more momentum. And then, I ended up here.
And this is perfect timing, right, Jan? As these things are falling into place for you, BYU's expanding what they're doing as they move into the Big 12. First of all, P5 program that hopefully comes with P5 pay for everybody eventually, right? But more positions. And you come into a senior analyst position now that's one that's added onto the program. Talk to us about what a senior analyst does. What does an analyst do? What's their role, and what can you do, what can't you do as an analyst?
So we analyze numbers. No, I'm just joking.
That's what Spencer does. Spencer's an analyst then.
It can mean anything, to be honest with you. It's kind of become a job title that is normal in college football, but it really is whatever the staff wants you to do.
You could be calling plays if you were an analyst at Alabama, like Steve Sarkisian, right?
Could be, yes.
Wait,
I don't think that is.
Are they paying you $750,000 like Steve Sarkisian got to be an analyst?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you're supposed to do that either, but whatever. That's a discussion for another day.
Like Jan knows that behind the scenes, there's new rules about analysts.
Yep.
And everybody behind the scenes calls them the Steve Sarkisian rules, because what Bama did, they hired him and he basically was calling the plays, and they said that's a little bit of a reach for what we thought that job should be.
Yeah.
And so now there's kind of some guidelines around it, but there is talk about loosening that up on the NCAA level and letting the analysts do more. So that job's going to morph as they go into the Big 12.
Sure.
I'm certain you're going to be involved in a big way on the defensive side of the ball as a defensive analyst. What contributions do you feel like you can bring and help this defense with? Because we all believe defense is a place where they can make some strides this season. Where do you fit into that?
That's also a really good question, and I feel like I can fit in a number of places. It's just where they decide to use me. I just from my playing career, playing defensive line, playing defensive end, and I feel like I could, go and help in terms of technique and talking pass rush and just things like that. I also have been working with linebackers for the last 4 years, or actually longer than the last 4 years, ever since I started here. So it's been 7 years. So I could, help out there. So it just kind of depends. I feel like I've, gained enough knowledge and gained enough respect that I could help at a number of positions and hopefully, just make these guys better.
Where did you grow the most in your journeys through all of these different coaching ventures? Man. From day one of being, a high school coach and then a grad assistant to where you are now, where have you grown the most as a coach?
So when you leave and you go, you do your graduate assistant thing, and you're kind of like, in a lot of ways, you're an intern. You do get to do some coaching, and you do get to do things as a coach, but you really spend your time really just learning the game of football. And everybody thinks that they know football, but when you get into it, you really learn it at a very deep level. And so after doing that and then just going out and doing it on my own as a coordinator, you go from, to being a GA to like having my full side of the ball. And I'm the one putting everything together strategically. I'm having to manage my staff. I'm having to manage the kids. So I grew a lot in these last 4 years being away, having to just do things on my own, and being a coach, the different positions that I've coached, and be able to just have the pressure of making your own decisions and having everything be on your shoulders. So over these last 4 years, I've grown a ton as a coach, and I don't think there's any other way to do it. You just got to get out and you got to get your feet wet and you got to go and coach. And I've really enjoyed the process, and looking from where I was when I first left to where I am now it's huge difference.
So what I'm gathering from that is your ability to tap dance in the moment and adjust on the fly and understand there's no other way to do it. You have to do it.
Great tap dancer. Great tap dancer.
Let's go.
Do you have, Jan, has there been a coach or two along the way that you look to as a mentor that you're like, oh man, as I get opportunities, I want to do it that way, or somebody that you pick their brain to help you?
I try to do that a lot. Any chance I get to talk, coaches probably get bugged by me, because whenever I get a chance to talk to a coach that I feel like I can learn something from, I'm wanting to pick their brain and I'm wanting to really learn from them. And I mean, the guys here have been awesome. That I worked with this whole defensive staff before, so I've stayed in good contact with all of them. They've been great. And then the other staff, I mean, a couple of my good friends, and Kelly Papinga, he's a guy I talk to a lot and bounce ideas off of. Shane Hunter, just those guys that I've gained those relationships from. But you kind of learn. What I really learned when I first went out to be a coordinator, you try to, I guess, model yourself after certain people and guys that you've played for or coached for and who have had success. And I learned real fast that I just had to be me, right? Like I had my own personality, my own way of coaching, my own way of doing things. And for me to believe in what I was doing, I just had to be me. And so, yeah, there's guys I bounce ideas and learn from, and, strategically. And, but in terms of where I'm at, I wouldn't say I've modeled myself after anybody. I'm just Jan.
Former BYU football defensive lineman, standout, sack master. I mean, We'll call you whatever you want. Right now, you're a defensive analyst. Jan, you tell us what you want us to call you. We'll call you that.
You call me whatever you want to call me. I don't really care.
Outstanding tap dancer.
We'll call you coach. So I know you haven't been here long yet, Jan, but you've watched this program, and now you've had a chance to look at film and do some things. Where can this team improve from last year?
Yeah, I think that they, if we're talking, I mean, defense is where I'm at, so I'll stick to that. But I think that there's a lot of areas that they can improve. I know that we've brought in some really good guys in the secondary. I think you're going to see us be a little bit more aggressive in the secondary and be able to do some things there because of the skill that we have. And I think the linebacker core is really, really good. I think that there's a lot of experience on the D line, which is awesome. And I think with that experience and those guys, just another year and doing it, that they're going to get better in all facets and everywhere. And I heard you guys talking about third down and fourth down as you were going to break, and I think that's huge. I think we have to get better there. To me, as a coordinator, when I was coordinating at Snow and everything, the third down was the most important down. I know you have 1 through 4, but the most important one is third. And so you got to get off the field. You got to get your offense back on the field because that's who scores your points. And so I feel like that is definitely an area that will improve.
Certainly. And BYU had some long, sustained drives put up against them, especially in those losses. And Blaine and I were talking earlier. I feel strongly like you stop the run, you're going to help your team get off the field. And I don't think it needs to be a drastic change in terms of a season average. We're talking like BYU was 75th in stopping the run last year. They'd be a top 40 team in stopping the run. I think that would make a huge difference. And so, I mean, what's the key there? Like, how do you get better other than just having healthy guys and more depth up front to stopping the run?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. It's number one, it's your commitment to it, which I know that this defensive staff has a huge commitment to stopping the run. Just the whole design of the defense is designed around stopping the run. So it's there. I think the injuries played a huge part of it last year. You mentioned the Baylor game. That's where it really kind of became big, and that's when the defense started to be depleted. And I think that it'll help because we're getting depth. Moving to the Big 12, you're getting depth in everywhere. So if you have guys go down, you're going to have guys who are almost as good, going in there where you're not going to have as big a drop off. So that'll be big. And then, I mean, it's just playing an assignment, physical football, right? Stopping the run. You've got to, up front, you have to be physical. You've got to not get driven back. You have to control offensive linemen up front. And then linebackers have to, know what their gaps are and be able to come downhill and make tackles. It sounds very simple, and it is very simple when you're talking about it, but actually doing it is a little bit different. And like I said, these guys are, they have the experience. They're going to be better just based off that. They're having healthy off seasons, which is really good. So they're going to get bigger and stronger, and you're going to see a big difference.
And they got to stay healthy. I mean, we've talked about this, Jan. I don't care if you're Oklahoma or Ohio State and who you're. You lose the equivalent of Keenan Peely, Peyton Wilgard, Chaz Ayu, Max Tooley, and have batting nicked up. Off of anybody's defense, they're going to drop, especially playing Baylor, and they pushed a lot of people around. So healthy guys with an attitude, I love it. So but before we let you go, we got to ask you, because I know you watched this.
I was there.
Oh, you were at it. So can you take Andrew Mickelson in there? You could take Andrew, right? You would just knock him out so fast he wouldn't know what happened?
There's a reason that there's weight classes. I'll just say that. But Andrew looked awesome. I was very impressed by what he did. With it being his fourth amateur fight. It's his fourth
fight, right?
Yeah, his
amazing,
fourth amateur
right?
fight, and he looked calm, and he went out there and executed. He was quick, and his hands looked really sharp. I was extremely impressed.
Yeah, he was good. Kicker's got to kick, right, baby?
Yeah, for what it's worth, Jan looks like he could step into the octagon right now.
He can step in right now, no problem.
Yes, and kicker's got to kick.
Kicker's got to kick, and Andrew kicked the heck out of that guy. So.
Jan, great to have you
Thanks
back,
for
man.
Coming on.
We'll have you sign our Sailor Kook flag on your way out, man. We need your signature because you're back.
Of course.
Yep. We appreciate it. Hey, coming up, Why are these staff additions for BYU football important to improving the program?
Well, I think Jan is evidence why it's important. You're starting to hear it and see it. And are you going to spend more hoops time this summer with the NBA Summer League or the basketball tournament? Some more football talk as well. This is BYU Sports Nation.
I know what it's like to be overlooked, to be doubted, to fly under the radar. I only had one offer coming out of high school, but I was ready for every moment, every opportunity, and every shot that I got. Now I'm playing professional basketball, aiming to be one of the best shooters on the planet. And I'm just getting started. Be ready for your moment with Rapid Reboot, the future of rapid recovery.
Professor Rock here.
The Food Nanny.
Chandler Scott here.
Samry.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
I just want to tell you about this amazing,
excellent,
cool account called My Style.
My Style Checking.
I'm talking travel points.
Gift card. Concert tickets.
All just for using my account.
That's My Style.
So check it out.
Give it a shot.
Open your My Style Checking account today.
Summer is back, and that means BYU TV's Super Girls of Summer are too. And they're more super than ever. Brave, persistent, bold, and heroic. Be there for all the fun, the action, and the reactions.
Figured out how to make your world a better place.
I totally feel like Superwoman. Watch the Super Girls of Summer all season long on BYU TV or on the free app.
BYU Sports Nation is brought to you by Marist, enabling global trade for a growing world.
This is BYU Sports Nation. To interact with the show and get great content throughout the day, follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok now.
Yep.
Every time I come on the show with you, we have another thing. Now we got TikTok, huh?
You got your TikTok thing going, right?
I do Twitch.
That's right. You're on Twitch. You got to get in the TikTok realm.
I know. I don't do the TikTok thing. I don't do the TikTok thing.
Yes, he is Blaine Fowler. Not a TikToker yet. I am Spencer Linton. Let's whip it. Cougar Whip Round presented by Marist, your integrated container logistics company, enabling global trade for a growing world.
So let's start with this. If you had to say right now, who do you have as the first BYU Cougar drafted in the 2023 NFL draft? Is it Jaren Hall? Is it Blake Freeland? Is there somebody that we're not talking about? Who's the first Cougar drafted in next year's draft?
We're certainly talking about everybody that's capable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's Blake Freeland for me. Right now, and it's only because it's kind of a loaded quarterback draft. Like, I think Jaren's going to be the 5th or 6th quarterback taken. And he still might go in the first round, late in the first round. Right. That's kind of how I feel like the draft is pacing for 2023. But every NFL team just wants a beast up front and one that doesn't give up quarterback sacks and one that can protect on the blind side, and that is Blake Freeland. He's a monster. He's a dude that can have a 12 to 14-year NFL career. He's super athletic, comes from an incredible athletic bloodline between his dad, Jim, and his mom, Debbie. Like, NFL teams know what he is. He's going first, Blaine.
Yeah, he's the real deal. I'm going to agree with you here, and I still think that Jaren Hall's going to be a first-round draft pick. And I said it earlier. I think BYU's going to have 2 first-round draft picks this year. When's the last time?
87.
Is that when Jason Buck and Sean Knight both went in first round as defensive linemen to the Saints and
the Bengals? It's been 35 years. 35 years since BYU had 2 first-round draft picks.
And they were on the defensive side. 2 offensive play. So I'm predicting that. So they have to stay healthy. But I do believe that Blake may be the first offensive linemen taken in the draft. And here's why. I've been watching him. I've been watching him all summer because he's been out at the camps. He just keeps getting bigger and stronger. And this is a guy that played quarterback in high school. So his feet and his hands and his skill level for a guy that's 6'8" and weighs close to 320 pounds is off the charts. He's a freak of nature. He's going to have a phenomenal season. I think he goes in the top 12.
He's a beast.
I think he goes in the top 12.
On to some basketball. Alex Barcelo is with the Toronto Raptors Summer League team. Yoli Childs with the Utah Jazz's Summer League roster. Which of those players, Alex Barcelo or Yoli Childs, has the best chance to get a camp invite with their NBA team?
This is a hard one, and I'm going to go just slightly better chance for Alex.
Okay, why? Because he's a shooter?
Because he can shoot. And I think that teams are always like, is there somebody we can count on that when our guys break down the defense and kick it, they can consistently make shots? The other thing is I think Alex is tough. He's tough enough to defend. Even though he's undersized from a height perspective, he's so strong that he'll bump people off of the route. He'll do the things that you have to do to be physical to go out and defend. But mostly because I think the shooting gets him an opportunity probably.
Dude, he is an elite shooter. When you have Jay Billis and others hopping on the Billis bandwagon to say that Alex Barcelo is the best shooter in college basketball, it's not surprising that he's in a summer league situation. And I think you're right. I'm with you. Like, Yoli's awesome. And Yoli has drastically improved his outside shooting. He's trying to become that stretch player. Right. Alex is already there as an elite shooter. I think he's got a little bit of a better chance to get into a summer, like an actual camp invite.
Hey, and if Alex was 6'5", with his same skill set, and that's a lot of ifs, right? If you're 6'4" even, he's an NBA starter. That's how good he shoots the basketball. So, okay, next. What's high on your hoops priority list this summer? Or which is high? The Cougars in the basketball tournament, TBT, the basketball tournament, or Cougars in the NBA Summer League.
Okay.
So you got Jimmer.
Okay.
That's a combination of Jimmer and Zach Selden.
Yes,
you
Zimmer.
got Zimmer. Got Zimmer in this thing. Frank Bartley, the fourth, is in TBT, and then Brandon Averett is also in.
So four former Cougars in the basketball tournament.
In the basketball tournament.
Okay.
And then we talked about Yoli and Alex being in Summer League. Which draws your interest more? What's more higher?
It's because it's Jimmer, Blaine. It's Jimmer. Anywhere Jimmer is playing basketball, like any BYU fan, any basketball fan for that matter, like, we all gravitate to Jimmer.
Yes.
Like SportsCenter and ESPN and Fox Sports will all be tweeting about, oh, did you see what Jimmer did in TBT today? And he's playing for Floyd Mayweather's team, the money team. Like, Jimmer and Floyd Mayweather and the money team, that to me is the blockbuster.
That's a matchup made in promotional heaven, right? So, no, I got to agree with you.
Jimmer Fredette's going to be on the show tomorrow to talk about this.
And I don't, other than the guys that are former BYU guys or guys I know, I don't pay that much attention to the Summer League, but I absolutely pay attention to the basketball tournament because it's fun.
It's so fun.
So, yeah, for sure.
The Daily Universe, BYU's student-run newspaper, pointed out in a recent article about the year the BYU women's sports collectively had. Soccer, women's volleyball, basketball, and softball. This is unbelievable. When it combined 117 wins to a combined 21 losses. 4 teams, 117 and 21. What's the most impressive part about that record, Blaine?
So you could pick individual sports and point out just the phenomenal play. I think the most impressive part is the combination of all of it. The statement that BYU women's sports, when people ask, is BYU ready to go into the Big 12? I look at that and I go, I'll tell you what, the women's athletic program is ready and then some to go compete immediately. So the most impressive part about that record to me is that there's not a weak sport on the women's side. And then that record doesn't even include the fact that Courtney Wayman just went out and won an NCAA championship and broke the record by 8 seconds and just qualified for World Championships. And that the women's track team and the nationals finished ahead of what their ranking was.
Number 9.
Yeah, number 9. So it's a top 10 program. That's not in.
Whitney Orton, cross-country national champion.
I'm telling you, It's impressive. BYU's women's sports is ready to compete right now.
Okay, again, and this is the most impressive part to me. People say, well, yeah, they won a bunch of games, but what do they do in the postseason? Oh, I don't know. Soccer went to the national championship for the first time ever. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Women's volleyball back to another Sweet 16. Women's basketball got a 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. They lost that first game, but they earned a 6 seed.
Right.
Blaine, they did amazing
They did great things. And
in the
track
postseason.
finished in the top 10.
There you go.
There you go. So, okay, former BYU kicker Andrew Mickelson, was just talking about it with Jan Jorgensen, scored a knockout 40 seconds into his 4th MMA fight this weekend. He scored a Twitter shout-out from Pat McAfee. We already mentioned that put up. Is it time to start respecting punters and kickers as athletes?
Yeah.
We always go, well, he's not really an athlete.
No. See, we have taken a stance in their defense.
Yes.
Brian Logan's not anywhere. Brian Logan was the naysayer here.
Brian says they're not kickers. Don't even talk about their kickers. They're not athletes. Don't talk about them.
These are athletes, people.
Ryan Rico will beat the crap out of Brian Logan. And you know what? And Jake Oldroyd might beat the crap out of him, too. So that, I'm telling you, Brian is jacked, but my money is on Ryan Rico and Jake Oldroyd, current BYU punter and kicker.
Yeah.
I think Rico would throw Brian around like a rag doll. I'm sorry.
I can just see it, a fight, and then after Rico takes care of Bilo, saying, punt this.
BYU's changed the narrative. Their kickers and punters and long snappers and holders are big-time athletes. So, all right, coming up, a rising shout-out to a no longer bachelor.
And will the additional football staff hires lead to more wins? Because that's what every BYU fan wants. Is it going to be more wins? This is BYU Sports Nation.
Back when you thought being an adult would be the greatest thing ever. But then, before you know it, you have car payments, student loans, credit card debt. That doesn't even include the mortgage. That's when my loan officer suggested a debt consolidation refinance. And just like that, I'm debt-free, and I'm on track to pay off my mortgage in just 11 years. Take back control of your adulthood. Hey!
Find out how he did it at intercaplending.com/debt-free.
They prefer to be bringing the heat, getting set for success, demonstrating their drive. But when their blood and sweat turns to tears or anything else, we lay the groundwork for BYU's athletes to hit the ground running again, and you as well. Intermountain Healthcare, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
Hi, Spencer Linton here, letting you know when your company joins the BYU team as a corporate partner, your brand can be featured in sports programming on BYU TV and BYU Radio. In addition to all of the great games, you can be part of the BYU coaches shows, place your message in Countdown to Kickoff, basketball pre- and post-game shows, and each weekday on BYU Sports Nation. We invite your team to join ours and become a corporate sponsor of BYU Athletics. For details, email sponsorship@byu.edu today.
Burke Mullen is Jet Rockfist in revenge.
Boys, the garbage still hasn't been taken out.
It's Quincy's turn.
They've been arguing for hours.
Pitiful children. I will indeed determine which of you will be taking out the trash, but not before the examination of evidence. That'll take forever. Yeah, we can totally skip all that. Time spent arguing is time spent not enjoying life.
BYU Sports Nation is presented by the BYU Store, official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere.
The BYU TV app is the place to watch recent and old BYU sports games. Get your VOD fix on the BYU TV app today.
Welcome back to an energetic Monday edition of BYU Sports Nation live in Studio B. We've had Jan Jorgensen on the program. Not only is he a former MMA fighter, but he's a guy that could step into the octagon right now, probably, go toe-to-toe with Andrew Mickelson, and he can go toe-to-toe with any of the BYU football defensive linemen too, Blaine.
He was really nice when we asked him that question.
He looks the part.
When we said, could you beat Andrew Mickelson, instead of saying, oh, I would knock him out so fast he wouldn't know what hit him, he was very kind. He just goes, well, there's a reason there's weight classes, which was a way of saying I am so much bigger and stronger than him. Like that would not be a challenge. But he didn't say that because Jan's too kind.
Yes, Jan. He's
so I'm not sure. Like,
he's a gentle giant.
Would Jan Jorgensen beat the crap more out of Andrew Mickelson, or would Ryan Rico beat the more crap out of Brian Logan? That's my question.
There's our poll question of the day.
I think Rico would beat up Brian Logan more than Jan would beat up Mickelson.
Now, I bring up Jan again because he is part of these critical staff hires that BYU has been making under Kalani Sitake. And they have expanded the staff now, we believe, to 41 full-time employees. Right. This goes everything from Kalani's personal assistant to the recruiting team to director of player personnel to defensive analysts. I mean, we've got all of this, 41 full-time employees. Now, just for a comparison factor, Alabama has 45 full-time employees on their football staff, 12 analysts, 45, okay?
Right.
Texas has 47, Utah 37, Baylor 35. So has BYU now gotten on that? Are they fully into the Power 5 level?
Yeah, I mean, and that's where BYU felt they needed to be able to compete. And so this is going to give them, if you look at it more,
the question is why? Why do they need all of these numbers? A couple more than Utah, a couple more than Baylor.
Here's why. As BYU's coming up through the ranks, each individual person, especially the coaching staff, is required to do more. And these coaches are doing way more than just coaching. So they're having to help break down film. They're having to voice over the film. They've got to be heavily involved in recruiting. And recruiting now is it is a massive undertaking with social media and with regular contact during the times that you're allowed to contact and texting and all these things that you've got to be involved in. And when you have a support staff behind you that can help take some of that load away, that can go break down film the way you want it break down, that can voice over some of the stuff to the players, the things that you want done.
That can do the outlier recruiting
all
things.
Of this. That can do all of the social media stuff, that maybe even can man your text for you a little bit to communicate with athletes and keep things going, that can help set things up and coordinate all these things. All of that allows the coaches to be one-on-one with the players and have a bigger impact on game planning, specific game planning, and also on developing players. So taking players and having them actually reach their potential. And that's what these big programs have. The individual attention helps those players blossom and become better players. And this is what BYU is going to be allowed to do. If Gennaro Guilford can just spend all of his time working technique and coaching these guys up and helping with scouting report and getting ready for games and doesn't have to worry about all that other stuff, the players are going to be better for it. And so that's where BYU's lacked in the past. To compete, that's where you've got to be. And I love that BYU's saying, hey, listen, if we're going to go into the Big 12, we're not going to go in with less resources than the teams that we're going to compete with. We've got to be able to stand toe-to-toe in resources so that our players can be developed the way these players in the Big 12 are developed, and we can compete on their level. I love it. I think when you see those numbers, that tells you that BYU has a commitment. And in the short term, they're maybe not paying out what Baylor's paying out to all these positions, but over time, the plan is to get all of these guys up to the level of pay and the number of personnel so that BYU is a big-time program in every sense of the word.
And again, these numbers that we're giving you are based on the staff directories on the team's home-specific websites. So the 45 from Alabama, 47 from Texas, those are just the people that we see listed on their staff directory. I don't know if there are more there. I wouldn't be surprised if there are more at Alabama and Texas.
Bama has 12 analysts, by the way. So they have 12 analysts. BYU, I think, has maybe 5 now with Jan. 12 analysts at Bama.
Yeah. Well, listen, do you think it's working for him? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they're okay.
So to give you a real-world scenario, how nice would it be if you're an assistant coach at BYU? Let's say you're the linebackers coach at BYU, and you've got bunch of things you got to get taken care of just to get ready for the game on Saturday. Okay, it's a Monday. You walk in, but you're trying to stay on top of recruiting. For you to be able to say to your director of recruiting and the personnel there and analysts, hey, I'm supposed to look at these 4 guys right here and get in contact with them. Can you just handle that for me so that I can just work on my game plan for how in the world we're going to stop the run and we're going to stop these, slot receivers and get into the specifics of that? That is such an advantage.
So huge.
For an assistant coach to be able to point to those people and say, can you handle that while I work on the actual game plan?
And you can give to an analyst and you can say, listen, I'm really concerned about third down defense with these guys in 3rd and long. Can you go break out every 3rd down play and bring me the tendencies and all that and come up with a plan? I love that.
That's incredible.
So, all right, coming up, our elite voice of the day.
Yes. And who has earned the rise and shout-out? Does it have anything to do with MMA? We'll see. Because we've talked a lot about that today. This is BYU Sports Nation.
TV time into together time with the BYU TV app. Watch all your favorite shows when, where, and how you want.
This isn't like a practical joke, is it?
No, sir. Immerse yourself in stories with all the feels. Go on uninterrupted journeys of discovery and see families coming together while watching with your own. See new and original content, all for free on the BYU TV app.
Uh-oh. Do you not know the groom's name?
I missed it on our first date, and it's way too late to ask.
Whenever you experience something funny, the first thing you want to do is like share it with your loved ones.
Seeing that comedy like helped us through things, that we want to use that to help other people in a way.
We had one kid whose make-a-wish was to come to Studio C. It made me be like, these goofy sketches mean a lot to people.
This portion of BYU Sports Nation is presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics.
BYU Sports Nation is on demand. Download the BYU TV and BYU radio apps today, or download the podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and please subscribe, rate, and review.
You can say whatever you want about fabulous Blaine Fowler, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
About the gash in the nose, about whatever you want, whatever you want to say.
Our question of the day, where will BYU football improve the most from last season to the upcoming 2022 season? Our elite voice of the day, presented by Sundance Mountain Resort. I do it all the time. Blaine, why don't you read it for us?
This is at Cougar A70 on Twitter, says, in the win column.
Ooh.
11 wins, including a bowl victory. You heard it first here. They will increase their third and fourth down stops via a healthy deep front seven, cleaning off my blue goggles and trying new recipes of blue Kool-Aid. Hashtag BYUSN.
Okay.
11. So he says on the win column, they're going to go to 11.
11 wins, including a bowl victory. So that 11-2, if we're counting the bowl
awesome.
victory. Okay. You and I kind of had a consensus of 9-3 in the regular season.
9-10 with the win bowl game.
10. Man,
that's pretty positive. I like it.
Okay. Today's Rise and Shout Out, presented by Mountain America, the official credit union of BYU Athletics. It has nothing to do with MMA, believe it or not, as good as that was. It goes to our guy, Fred Warner, who got married over the weekend.
Awesome.
Congratulations, Fred. All-Pro Fred is now a married man. He and Sydney Hightower have tied the knot. Hightower, of course, known for her appearance on season 24 of The Bachelor.
She got the best bachelor of all, though, in Fred.
Right? Are you kidding me?
Handsome, talented, and an all-around really awesome
Yeah,
guy.
you think she's happy that things didn't work out with the dude on ABC?
This is Fred is so much better.
Oh, my goodness. It's not even close.
And this isn't fake. This is real.
It's not even close.
Very good.
All-Pro Fred is all-wed Fred. Let's go. Our thanks to today's guest, Jan Jorgensen, who, by the way, was fantastic.
Unbelievable. And he's going to be great here. And, hey, we're sorry again to Dennis Pitta because we ran out of time again. And I know he likes to get on. The conversation continues 24/7 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Use the hashtag BYUSN. Remember Faceback from the good guys?
I remember.
Faceback.
By the way, Dennis just moved to Orange County, so maybe he has time for us now that he's moved. For Blaine, I'm Spencer. Shout out to Mark Bellini. We'll see you tomorrow. Go Cougs.